Okay, so maybe you can state your name and where you work and what's your position.
Okay, I'm Therese Mastro. I'm the principal of Vestal Hills Elementary School.
Great. So, from a global standpoint, how do you feel American education is doing in comparison to schools internationally?
Well, there's been a lot of research and a lot of data out there as to where the United States is in comparison to the on an international basis, and especially in the areas of math and science and reading and ELA. I think that the focus on our curriculum and our standards have really been addressing where we're standing internationally and where our kids are when they're getting into college because of the difficulties that we're seeing at the college level with our preparation of students to enter and get freshmen, and the amount of remediation that students need when they're hitting as freshmen is also adding to how much time students have to spend in college before they can even get credit-bearing classes because of the preparation coming in. So we need to be addressing what we're doing K-12 to make sure that we can impact kids when they get to college, but also then look, where are we internationally? We're having trouble right within our own systems.
Okay, now you
Maria MacGyver, principal, MacArthur Elementary School. This actually is my 35th year in education. I think we're behind, personally, and I think that, again, as I stated in the class when I came to your class, I think that given the opportunity when I went to China, I was able to see that internationally, countries get to choose who they want to provide education to. And those that are afforded that education, then they are given other jobs. And that was true in China when we went in Shanghai, so that you're actually picking the cream of the crop. So again, you want those students want to be there. Those students desire to be there. So again, when you already have that intrinsic motivation within, it's easier for a teacher to teach them because they're like a sieve. And that's what I saw when I was there for 7 days in China, when you visited those schools. And that was 12 years ago when I went, and I was seeing that. And so that gave me a different perspective. And when I worked with kids at the high school, I would tell them that this is the only thing in life that they're going to get free. And they should take it and run with it. It's their chance. It's an opportunity for them. And some of them understood that, and some of them didn't. And I think now what's happening with the Common Core, I like the Common Core, to be honest with you, because it's a consistent set of standards for the entire United States. That, again, as I stated, a woman is coming here to work at Binghamton University, and again, the mobility coming from Chicago to here, if we all have a common set of standards, then again, it will be easier for children to transition into a new classroom. So again, that's what we're working towards with regards to that. So I think we're behind internationally. That's my perspective.
Specifically, do you feel that foreign language is prioritized at your school? With that said, how do you feel foreign language is emphasized in American education as a whole?
At Vestal, foreign language is offered once the students hit middle school. And at our building at elementary, we have after-school programs for students to be exposed to some different language. We have foreign language clubs, but it's not part of the curriculum. And you lose a window of opportunity when you're learning language. There's students. We have international students from all over the world here at Vestal Hills that speak multiple languages. But as far as embedded in our curriculum, we're not embracing that, and we need to.
You think that we need to do that as an American, involved in American
I
education?
believe we do. And so we're trying to tap into the expertise that we have available to us at Vestal Hills through our parents and being affiliated with the college, and offering like an Italian class and Spanish, and we've had American Sign Language and different things like that, so students can at least start to be exposed to other languages, so that when they hit the middle school, they're at least excited about that. their options at the middle school are, they don't have as many as what is spoken on a day-to-day basis in our homes here. But they are trying to address it at that point. But as far as an elementary unit, we're not addressing it. And I don't think we are as a school system in the United States, truly.
Right.
Here at MacArthur, it is not prioritized. I'm going to be honest with you. It is, we have made a step towards implementing foreign language. Elementary schools have the opportunity to have either French, Spanish, or Mandarin. And then my school has French, but again, it's 20 minutes once in a 6-day cycle. To me, no, that's not enough. It should be daily. I could see 20 minutes daily. Again, I think that's a length that children can grasp. And again, we only do it 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. It should really be started at kindergarten. So again, is it a step toward that? Absolutely. And then speaking with, back to China when I went there to visit, they were, by the time they were in middle school, on their 3rd language.
Wow.
3rd language. And I was like, and again, their Mandarin's number 1 because that's their language, then English, and then they had the opportunity to either French, German, Spanish. So that's why they're so far ahead of us, because again, they see the need for that. And then here we are, 20 minutes in a 6-day cycle, and that recently just started, I want to say 3 years ago. So, and we haven't even moved forward to expand that even more. And the kids love it. They really do love it. And then my librarian tries to implement as much of a foreign language, different types of languages, and she'll do the greetings. And so you're constantly hearing her introduce a new hello and goodbye to the kids. So I think we're behind the 8 ball in that.
Has technology been implemented within the classroom over the last 10 years? If anything has changed, how so?
We've spent a lot of money and a lot of time on staff development and the infrastructure and the technology itself at Vestal in the last 10 years. They've done a lot with integrating technology into the curriculum. It's more than just putting an iPad in front of a child. It's how can you use that to help enhance your learning? How can you use Chromebooks? We're using Chromebooks in our 3-5 classrooms. We have iPads in our K2 classrooms. We have a computer lab. We have laptop carts, the smart boards. All that technology is here. What's happened as far as our ability to train staff and help our staff sort of was derailed a few years ago because of the fiscal pieces that hit the valley in all of our school districts. So there was technology teachers that came in and were helping in classrooms. Their positions were cut, but we're trying to rebuild now, and so we have tech liaisons in each building to help staff understand how they can use this technology to help enhance. So I think we're back on track with that. We're trying really hard you need to help the adults so they can help the kids.
Right.
Right now, we have a person who was hired to really take a look at our technology program. And again, that's been kind of put on the back burner, but now she's moving forward. And what we've been doing, because of our situation and where we were located for 4 years, we were lacking significantly because those buildings, they're old buildings, and they were not, because of the old buildings, we didn't have those opportunities. So again, prior to the flood, we had a computer lab where kids can go and access desktops and lessons can be done.
Did you guys only have desktops available?
Correct. That was it. So prior to the flood 4.5 years ago, we only had desktops. And then there were 4 desktops for student use within each classroom. Then when we had smart boards. Smart boards were just installed. So all of that was flooded. Then when we went to the new school, we got the smart boards, but they were not attached, so they were on rolling carts. So that was good, but that took at least 6 months to implement. Then we ended up getting laptop carts. So then at least they didn't have the desktops, but they had laptops that students could use. But we did not have any access to where whole classes can go and access. Now with the, then slowly we started implementing Chromebooks. Our challenge program has MacBooks that she uses for her program. And then K1, 2 have iPads. So they are, so kindergarten, first, second grade have the iPads plus the laptops. And then now when they come back to the school, all that will be brought. So they'll have the smart boards, the laptops, the computer lab, Chromebooks, MacBooks, and that's it, right? The iPads. So we are, and then every 4 years it gets updated. So she's really taking a look at that and really making sure that every school, and there's 10 schools in the district, and it's on a rotating basis, so it's continual. So I'm fortunate now because I'm in the brand new school, everything's gonna be brand new.
Are there a high percentage of students of low socioeconomic status in your school?
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider your school to be well funded by the government?
We are a Title I school, and that's based on our free and reduced lunch numbers. That's how you are targeted as a Title I school. It's based on enrollment in free and reduced lunches across the district. And that really is up to parents to either apply for it or not. Okay, so that's one indicator, okay, is where you are. We do qualify for that. As far as funding from the state and the federal government, that's district-based versus, specifically to Vestal Hills. But those funds are used in different ways to either pay for teacher salaries that work with students in, say, English language arts. Our reading specialist, her salary might be paid through those funds, or a math specialist's salaries are paid through those funds in order to help our kids. So. And we'd have those positions in the building. We do have math specialists and reading specialists that work with students. So.
Right, that's great.
We're a Title I school because of our poverty rate. So yes, we are funded, but unfortunately what I'm finding is that our funding, which is technically supposed to be for my school, what the assistant superintendent has done is taken a portion of that from each of the schools and use that to provide professional development for the teachers. And what it was used for this year was for the writers' workshop. We've implemented a new program, and we went down to Columbia University, listened to Lucy Culkin, and took a portion of Lucy Culkin's program, and then we have a consultant, Olivia Wall, and we're merging them. And actually, they create units, and it's all planned out for the teachers. And at first, when the teachers were being trained, watching them during the training, you can see a lot of apprehension. You can see a lot of comments, negative comments going. How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to implement this? This is another new program. And it is overwhelming for them. It really is, because you have the Common Core, you have the modules, you have this. And then, so they started to implement it. Everything spelled out for them, which some people took it and said, okay, we're going to go with this. And I have to see that I did unannounced observations in all my teachers' classrooms regarding Writers' Workshop. And I have to share with you, I am in total amazement at what these teachers have gotten our students to do. Because writing, they're lacking in writing, they really are. And again, the problem though is implementing programs and not building upon them. So again, everyone's starting with this new program. So again, 5th grade teachers are implementing units where the expectation is students had the fourth grade, the third grade, had that foundation prior to. However, that's the one negative thing, but that's with any program. That was with the Common Core modules. That was the same thing. But now we're seeing that students, when it started, we started 3 years ago, so kids in second grade now, the teachers are like, oh my God, they know what a number bond is. They know what this is. You don't have to teach that. They already have that knowledge, and they can move forward. So that is where our funding, we're funded by the state, by the government with regards to that. But then again, our district determines how that's used.
Okay.
And they did take some, I think it's Race to the Top money has been cut. So all of this implementation of the new standards has now ended. So where we had this pool of money where we could do all of this, it's now gone. And that's with all districts, I believe.
In what ways does your school curriculum prepare its students for their future academic and entrepreneurial endeavors? So like 21st century skills.
We do a lot. Well, you know, the technology is there to help with the communication and the global communication. And if you go in our 3-5 classrooms, they're interacting with classrooms around the world. They're part of different projects and different things like that, besides just working together collaboratively within the classroom, trying to expand our walls and go that way. As far as entrepreneurship, we do, we're really looking into what is called Genius Hour, for example, where it's self-directed. Kids have an interest, and then it's research-based. They have an interest, they pose a question, then they research it, then they present it. They have to come up with some type of a presentation, be it using technology, or it could be a poster, but then that communication skill, because they have to present and they have to speak about it. We're looking into trying to fund what's called a makerspace, which is, it's a variety of materials, but it's all engineering, and it's focusing on the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so those are some things that we're doing at the building level to help with that area that you're talking about.
So do you feel like your students are learning really good communication skills at this point?
That's a big focus. It's a big focus. It's a big focus here. We have a morning program where kids are presenting, kids are leading morning program, doing different things like that. We have buddy classrooms, so the older kids are working with younger students, and you know they're working together. They might even do a project together. We have classrooms that are maybe a 5th grade and a 2nd grade, and they're running our Chow campaign, and you know, so they're working together, trying to get outside of our classroom doors.
What they did was because of the Common Core, the shifts, we have aligned our curriculum with regards to the Common Core. So again, the Common Core states that it's career ready, 21st century, so everything's aligned with that, which is good.
And you see a lot of those students getting prepared in the classroom?
Not as much with the career ready. I don't really see that with regards, and I think that's more, to be honest with you, in the middle school into the high school. I mean, there are aspects that are touched upon at the elementary, but I think the focus more is in the 6th. You'll start to see it more so in 5th grade, moving into the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
I think in our class we talked a lot about achievement gaps in terms of globally, what you were talking about in terms of like the STEM type courses, and then also within just the United States,
Right.
like the achievement gap between like lower income students, higher income students of color. And I just wanted to know, since you're like on the inside of the school, and you probably you see the
Right.
dynamics play out day by day. What do you think contributes to those things the most?
Well, you know, poverty does make an impact. It makes an impact because, you know, and the family structures make an impact. You know, we can do what we can do here, and we try really hard to wrap around every child. Doesn't matter what's happening outside of the 6 hours that we have them. You know, but that homeschool connection is huge. we have wonderful families and from all different economic backgrounds, and they're all doing the best they can to provide food on the table. For some, that's a basic. Some families are just trying to do that. So then to say you need to spend an hour reading with your child and doing math, they're just trying to get through the basics of just getting day to day. So that does make an impact, and that's also stressful on little children because they know. And stress impacts the learning ability. So you try to make the environment while they're here so that they can thrive. You put supports around children in all different ways, not just academically. That social emotional piece, that's huge. And sometimes that's impacted by, your family structure. And it doesn't have to do with where they're economically, where their family sits. You can be very wealthy but have a very stressful home life, maybe a divorce, or those kind of things. And those impact children significantly. If they're not here ready to learn because they're not emotionally with you, or if they're not physically with you because they don't feel well, they're not eating well, so we're providing free lunch and breakfast and all those things to get kids ready to learn, then they can learn. But we're spending a lot more time on those things so that when they get in the seat, they're ready to learn. Where you didn't see that so much, maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Gotcha.
So that is increasing, those things are impacting.
That's good to hear.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's something that we've definitely talked a lot about. We've read a lot about in terms of like the way those family dynamics, whether it's poverty or other issues at home, like
Right.
how it sort of manifests within their education.
And we have,
And-
and we have students, they're at daycare. It's 6:45 in the morning, we open up daycare in the morning. And they are going to daycare after school, and some aren't getting picked up till almost 7 o'clock at night. It's a long day for a 6-year-old,
Right.
right? But that's what those families need in order to be able to
Yeah.
continue to move forward as a family. So of course that's going to impact mom and dad and their stress level, as well as what these little guys, and some of them are tired, and they need to go to the nurse's office, and we need to let them sleep. They're
Feels,
Yes.
do you think that's a focus within the curriculum?
Yes, I do. I really do. But the sad part is it goes back to, again, that intrinsic motivation. It all depends upon the individual child. I mean, you can only do so much to lead that child, and it gets to a point where it's up to that individual to take what is given to him and move forward. That's the frustrating part. That is, again, teachers are working and working, and then some of the kids, that's not a priority. I just had a student, I'm going to be honest, third grade student, my social worker came in today, and she's taking care of her 10-month-old sibling. She gets up in the middle of the night. She's explaining how to make the bottle, how to feed the bottle. The social worker's like, "Where's mom?" Mom's decides she no longer wants to take her medicine. So she's like, and here's this third grader raising this child. So their priorities are not where we think they should be, being a child who's coming to school. They're different. They're taking care, they have other responsibilities. And that's the struggle that I see more and more, where when I went to school, or even when that was not even with my children, I think about it, they didn't have to think about that. That was my responsibility.